Hi everyone, welcome to Live with Prima. Cari Fennell, and I'm here to host the show tonight. We're going to be making this back to school layout. Well, it's not really back to school, but it's just a school layout. My son just got his photos the other day. They take them really early in our school, like the first week they go back. So we got them back, and I told Frank I would work with the special delivery kit this month. And if you're wondering about these kits, they're on livewithprima.net. That's all you have to type in is livewithprima.net, and you can see our monthly kits. We also have a Julie Nutting stamp club now on there, and that's pretty exciting too. So a lot of happenings, and you may see some more kits in the future, hopefully. So you can still get a hold of these products even if you don't want to buy the whole kit. This is an older line, probably from about 2 years ago, believe it or not, and it's called School Memories. So we're going to start with playing with our background, and this is our background paper, and the number is 846114, and it's called Are You My Radius? Maybe. Maybe I am. So I'm just going to set aside our original layout here. Actually, I want to put it over here. And I'm going to get to work on the background, but actually I'm going to move my craft mat because what I'd like to do is get out my Prima Distress tool. I don't know if you guys have this. It's a tool with files on it, and this is the rough file. This is the fine one. Here you have like this little crescent. It's actually a bone folder if you want to use it for cards. And over here is a blade. I don't know. I know this thing is my poor tool, so dirty. There's a blade for doing your edges of your papers, and on the handle you'll see two beveled edges, and these you can use for rub-ons or burnishing something. Really handy. And then if you take off your handle, which mine may be glued on, oh it's not, there's a metal brush tip. Let's see if it'll focus for me. Sometimes my camera gets funny. Let's see, I'll just put, there it is. It's a metal brush, so you can use it to just kind of scrape, things on the surface. It's really handy. So what I'm going to do is take the rough file, and I'm just going to start going along the edges of my paper. You can see how the file works really well for distressing like the front, whereas the blade you would use for doing the edges of your paper and roughing it up that way. But sometimes I like to see, I just kind of like to give it that worn look, and I'll use the file on my paper surface and just kind of get it roughed up. And you can press gently or you can press really hard. It just depends on how you want it to look. Now I know my craft mat is horribly dirty, very, very dirty. And I'm just gonna pretend that I don't see my dirty mat and just keep sanding. And you can see the paper core is starting to come through, so that's kind of cool. I don't know. I don't do this to all my layouts, but to some, I just thought the paper core edge looked kind of cool. You see that? Now, Delana will let us know if, she'll let me know if you have questions as I go along. She can text me and stop me in my tracks so that I know if I've missed something or you have any questions. I'm just going to move this light back a little bit. There's a little bit of a glare. Okay, so to start off, I grabbed, now this was not in the special delivery kit. This is a stencil by Finnebear. Let's see. Sometimes it goes this way, but you can see it has all the numbers and letters. It's kind of a old school kind of stencil you may have used as a kid, tracing and stuff like that. Delaney, I'm so sorry I don't have the item number for this because it's not in the packaging. But anyway, I thought it was really appropriate for for this layout. So what I did is I grabbed some Prima modeling paste. So this has an opaque matte finish. Modeling paste you can use to give anything dimension, right? And it's pasty. Low odor. There's like barely any odor, which is important to some people, right? Oh, let's see. Probably right about here. So I'm just going to grab my gigantic palette knife here. You can use this with an old You can do this with an old hotel key card. You know, if you don't have a palette knife handy, that's fine. All right, so forgive me if I bump into my camera a little bit here. Okay, so I'm just gonna scrape off the excess, not very well, but I did. So you can see, like, I know it's harder to see on camera, but I'm gonna just see, can you guys see that? It did come through. I know it looks really busy right now. And then I'm gonna turn it over and I'm gonna do a little bit down here along the other side. Let's see, I'm trying to remember where, okay. So, yeah, about right here looks good. Because I don't want to cover the whole background with it, but I wanted to add a little bit. So, again, I'm just going to kind of, it's like frosting. And we do have like a light paste. And the light paste is it's better for more delicate projects. Like, it's not as heavy as the regular modeling paste. So you can think of it in two ways. Like the modeling paste is frosting. The light paste is like fluff, if that makes sense. So like I said, a little bit lighter. You know, you could, since you're working on paper, you could use either one, quite honestly. I'm just going to set this aside so I don't stick my elbows and everything else in it. Now, if you don't mind, I'm just going to dry this real quick so I can keep moving. And it does dry pretty fast on its own, but because of our time limitations with the class, you know, you don't want to sit here forever and wait for it to dry. But it does take the heat really well. And we're just going to keep on drying it. I know, it looks super busy right now, doesn't it? Haha. That's all right. And there's no like right or wrong way to do this. You can just add a little bit here, add a little bit there. And once it's dry, if you decide that, you know, you want a little bit more in another area, you can just put the stencil back down and go over it again. That's always what I recommend, is drying first and then going back and touching up a little bit. All right, so we've got that part done. I'm going to put my modeling paste away. And next, we're going to do a little bit of chalkboard paint action. So I've got the black chalkboard paint. Probably shouldn't have taken the lid off, but it's 577186. So our chalkboard paint looks just like chalk, right? And this nifty little container really goes a long way. So what you can do, just dip your brush in there. And I'm not very careful or neat about this. Like, I'm just going to be really kind of messy. All right, so I want just a really simple, messy border. Yeah, you can see I didn't really dry that part too well. All right, and I can bring this in or out as far as I want to go. So, and this stuff really does dry fast. Let's see, I just want a little bit more over here. So see how I'm just kind of going out here and here. Let's see, and I'll finish off this corner. Again, not being real careful. Okay. All right, so that's pretty good for me. I'm going to dry this real quick, and then I'm going to do some splatters. And this will dry really fast. That's right. Messy crafter. If you tell me I have to stamp exactly in one place or do it exactly a certain way, I don't really do well in that. I'll be honest. I'll try my best, but it doesn't always work out. Okay, so I'm actually going to grab just a little bit of water from my cup. I've got a little bit of paint on here, and I'm just going to go right on my craft mat right over here. Okay, it's pretty watery. And what I'm going to do is make a mess. So I wore an old shirt, I will tell you, wear an apron or an old shirt that you don't care about. It should come out, but it might not. Okay, so you can see that I'm tapping my brush with something hard because that's going to give me direct splatters where I want it. Now, the harder you hit it, the bigger the splats. If you just tap lightly, you're going to get those fine little, just those fine little dots. I just like it because it adds just a little bit of texture, adds a little bit of interest. I know you can't really see it that well, but trust me, in real life, it looks cool. Okay. So yeah, so I've got it all over here. So that's why I say it's important to, I don't want to hear anyone say, "Oh my gosh, Cari did not tell me to wear a yucky shirt. And I got paint all over it and I ruined it." Yeah, don't do that. That's why I'm here to warn you. I'm your friend. Okay. So, tap tap tap. Perfect. Okay. So now I can put that away. Chalkboard paint does come in several other colors. So all of them are, you know, like in blues and golds and a little bit of an orange and tans and gray and like even this really beautiful burgundy color. Let's see if I can hold it up. See, my camera has issues sometimes focusing. There we go. And you can see that I've got splotches of black paint all over. Yep. Okay, so it's well used, well loved. Okay, so I'm just going to clean up a little bit of the splatter. There we go. And I'm going to do exactly the same thing with our heavy gesso. So the heavy gesso, again, it's like regular gesso is pretty watery. Prima's heavy gesso has got just a little bit more girth to it. Like you can't pour it out. It's like pasty and white and but yet really, really creamy. All right, I'm going to clean off my brush. Maybe. There we go. So I'm going to do the exact same thing. Just adds a little bit of texture, a little bit of fun. Let's see. I'm going to have to go to my sprayer. Okay. I'm just going to mix that up because it is so thick. You actually have to mix it just a little bit. Let's see. Yeah, it's so thick. You need to add a little bit more water to this. I'm talking to myself, and I'm also telling you, add a little bit more water. Okay. There we go. You'll be able to tell if it's too watery. If it's too watery, then your spots will come through almost translucent, so to speak. And I guess that would be okay, but not really the look. See, now I just did a big splotch right there. So just dab off your brush a little bit before you start going crazy. Oh yeah. Messy, 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 but really, really fun. Okay, I'm going to show this to you guys in just a second. Too much splatters, no such thing. Splatters up your nose, that could happen. That just happened to me. So be careful. So let me see if I can hold it up. Oh, little bits of paper on there. Can you see that? You see the splatters? Yeah. So they're there, but yet they're subtle. And it just adds, like I said, a little bit more texture. They're just kind of fun. Once you start splattering on stuff, you're going to want to do it on everything because it's kind of cool. All right, now before I move on, I'm just going to dry this layer again. Take that big blob I got and just dab it up with the paper towel. I'm not too concerned about it. Kind of adds to the messy look that I'm going for. You can do this with, it doesn't have to be gesso, it could be acrylic paint. That would be fine. I do, I use my gessos and my pastes and everything for lots of projects. Because once you start using it, you kind of get used to using it, and it's just worthwhile. I just have to make sure I've touched every surface, because it will smear if it's not dry, and then it will look weird. Alright. Well, maybe it looks weird anyway. Okay. So pretty simple and fun. Just some splatters, some painting. This is the area where my photo is going to go. It's perfect. You know, my hands are dirty, so this really isn't telling me much. Okay, so next I'm going to take a piece of paper, and it's called Type Away. So you can see it's got like pretty cool like notebook lines, little typewriters. The back is what I used as the strip on my layout. So I would say the strip is about 1.5 inches. Okay. I never really measure, but for the sake of the show, I'm going to say 1.5 inches, and that's pretty darn close. So this is going to be my little banner that comes down the side of the page. So I'm going to cut out that little notch, and remember the trick I said the other day. You cut up the middle of the paper as far as you want to go. Then you go from the corner to the end of the cut, and you should have a pretty even little flag here. Well, you should, but you know, of course I didn't cut deep enough. Okay, so just like that. And I'm going to have it there about yay so. And I want to glue that down. I didn't add any foam tape to this. Alright, just some glue. I mean, this you can eyeball. I'd say it's probably about, you know, 1.5 inches from the bottom of the page if you want to be exact. I'm just going to fold this over the top. I don't need to cut it. It's just easier. And then I actually just took my stapler and added a couple staples up here. Just for fun. Just to kind of give it a cool look. I don't know if it's cool, but I think it is. Alright, next we are going to cut the same paper we use as our background, but what I want to do is use the other side. So this paper again was called Are You My Radius? It's 846114, and we're going to cut this top part right here. Okay. All right. So again, I eyeballed it. It's about 5 inches wide. I'm pretty sure. Let me just double check here. Haha, I am good. Okay, so 5 inches wide, and I'm just going to tear it along the bottom. So let's see, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 6 blocks down, according to the graph paper. I don't know if you can see that. And I'm just going to tear just like this, just across. Not very careful at all. Okay, and so that's going to be the paper that goes right about there. Hold on, let me see if I can straighten out my, oh sorry. Okay, there we go. And I actually did ink the edges of some of the papers with black soot distress ink. You know, you can use any black ink that you like. I just wanted to kind of edge the paper a little bit. I'm using the blending tool for this, and it actually looks kind of blue. Like, yeah, it's odd. Maybe my ink pad may have been contaminated. You know, I don't think so though. Okay, so I kind of like that. That looks cute, and I'm going to add some foam tape to the back of that. I found this foam tape roll. These foam tape rolls. Where was I? Office Max? Yeah, Office Max. On clearance for like $6. So I just went ahead and snatched a couple. I figured that's pretty good. I seem to go through it a lot, you know. And these aren't real thick. It's just going to add a little bit, not a ton of dimension. Because for this, I don't really need to. My embellishments that I add to the page are not super chunky, just a little bit chunky. If I were adding a lot of flowers to it, a lot of dimension, then I would probably go with a thicker foam tape, but it's not really necessary. All right, just like that. Perfect. Okay, so the next piece I'm going to cut is this chevron piece. And that is on the back of this paper. It's really cool. I love this paper. It's so cute. It's got all the things that reminds you of the classrooms growing up, right? This one's called Chalkboard Love, and it's 846107. And by the way, you can find all of the names and numbers of everything I'm using on the Prima blog today. It's prima.typepad.com. And if you search school layout, you should be able to locate it even if you're watching this video a little bit later. So I'm going to use this chevron side because it's really, really pretty. And I want it to go inside of this paper, but I want it to be a little bit thinner. So sometimes what I do is I'll grab my photo and just kind of take a look at it. And I'm going to just mark it with my finger. Let me see how big it is. I will be able to tell you un momento. All right, about 4 inches, 4 1/8 inch. 4 inches, 1/8. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's perfect. That's great. You can make it as wide or non-wide as you want. All right, so I'm going to have it go like this, and then I'm just going to tear kind of along the bottom, just like I did the other one. Easy peasy. And this one I actually have raised a little bit above the white part. So I'm going to ink the edges again. So it's all about building up where your photo is going to be, because I feel like the photo should take center stage on your project as much as possible, right? That's the reason why we're doing this. If you don't build it up and give it a little bit of dimension and some layering behind it, sometimes it'll get lost in everything else you have going on the page. So for me, it's pretty important just to kind of make sure that that photo is highlighted as it should be. And I see a lot of people create gorgeous layouts and projects, and they don't really pop up their photos as much. And when I look at it, you know, I'm like, oh, the photo is so beautiful, the layout's so beautiful, but why not still make sure that that photo, you know, stays the center of attention? That's I think kind of important, but that's important to me. It may not be important to everybody else, but I hope that makes sense, because the more you add around it, you know, the more it's going to get kind of lost as you start adding all of that around. It's always, you know, something I mention in my classes and talk about. And then I will, let's see. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention too, you're going to use tape, but you want to make sure you put the tape toward the inside of the paper so that we can tuck things in and around without any issues. Well, without horrible issues, right? So try to put your tape toward the middle, and that way when you go to add all your embellishments and tuck things in, you're not going to have an issue. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put that tape on the back of my photo. So again, I don't think I tucked too much around the photo, so I'm not too concerned, but I'm going to just kind of show you what I mean here. See, I'm not going right to the edge. I'm going sort of in the middle from the ends and the sides. All right. Yeah, they don't they don't teach cursive writing in school anymore, is that right? Oh, that's a shame. Wow, I didn't know that. Well, how could I not know that when my kids are in school? Huh. I don't know. You know, I have boys, so to me it would just, I would logically think that they just don't want to if they're going to write something, but really everything that they do in school for projects and things is typed, and that is the truth. Okay, I just need to hold this up a little bit so I can make sure everything is lined up properly. It looks relatively straight. It doesn't always look straight when it's right below your face for some reason. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that. I think it looks pretty good. All right, so let's see. Next, I'm going to start building up around this. And you know what I did is I just did some kind of fun little things. I actually took a piece of notebook paper, and I love like the fringed edge. I think it's kind of fun. So I thought that would be neat just to add, you know, a little bit of school book paper. It's fine to use. It's not going to touch your photos or anything like that. So, you know, what's the worst it could do? Just get kind of yellow, you know, over the time. But not that bad, I'm sure. Not that bad. Okay, I am going to tear it around right about there. And see how I'm tucking things in already? So I just kind of want the edge just to show. Just like that. I have some older layouts that I've done of Jack when he was in elementary school. I used to use book, you know, notebook paper a lot. It looks fine still, you know. All right, so I have this little piece I tore off here, so I think I'm going to just tuck this in like right over here, just to add a little bit of balance. I know it's hard to see. I'll hold this up in just a second. The cameras always have a hard time with white for some reason. So I'll pick this up and show it to you here. You see how I added that? Yeah, it's just right along here, and then I added it just right along there. Pretty cool. Okay, now I'm going to get out a couple things. One thing being the Tag Me set, the School Memories tag set. So in here there's tickets and tags, and the number on this is 569556, and you get 2 of each of everything. So there's 6 tags, which you get 2 of each of, and 6 tickets. So you'll get two whole strips like this, and I use this one. Good job. So, and they're perforated, so they come apart. So I'm going to use that, and put those aside. This is where it starts to, your whole area starts to be limited because you just start to surround yourself with stuff. Okay, and then you have all these cute tags. So there's like little birds and a checker, teal with that fun little design on it, some black with little banners. Let's see. This one has like the alphabet at the bottom. This red one with dots, and then you have a polka dot tag with a little bird down there with like little banners. So let's see. I used one of the red ones. I'm just going to take the strings off. I don't need to take the strings off, but I did. And then I actually used both of these. They're the teal striped ones. All right, I'm just going to remove those. Okay, so now I'm just going to tear off the bottom of it. I know, bad. And I just tucked one in down here. And then took another one of these and tuck that in there. And then this guy just kind of goes, and you might even have time to, no, let's see. There, let's see. And put this one right here. Yeah, I just bent it. Just bent it all the heck. There we go. So I just kind of placed them kind of coming up and kind of cute like that. I like them like that, I think. I'm just going to add a little glue and slide those in there. Do you guys have any questions? No? You talking about food and stuff? Probably. Okay. Add a little bit of glue to this. Here we go. Just sort of like that. Actually, I need to move these up just a tad. There we go. So that looks kind of cute so far. So see how I'm building up my layers. actually have to hold my look at my regular layout because I need to remember what the heck I did. Okay, so it's not going to look exactly like the first one, but pretty darn close. All right, so then that little good job ticket, I'm going to put that about right here. Okay, and that I tuck in just there we go. And see, I can move the tags up and down a little bit. With wet glue, I love wet glue because you can kind of maneuver and, you know, change things around as you need to and, you know, play around a little bit. That's perfect. All right, so next thing is, all right, I guess the next thing is I have to get out the chipboard pieces. The chipboard pieces are pretty fabulous. And I'll show them to you right now. Here they are. So I love these. They're very vibrant and pretty, yet they're kind of, you know, old school. Some, like, look at this old ink bottle. So if you got this stuff, you could do an old heritage layout about school, or you could do up-to-date, new, you know, nerdy layout, whatever you want to do. So what I did was I grabbed the apple, and I grabbed this one that says, "You Make Me Smile." That's a cute one. And, oh, now my son's name is Brian, so I got lucky with the B. Sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing, but that just worked out great for me. And then, let's see, what else? Oh, I used this cute little ruler down here. We'll get that out. Oh, and he asked that I use this. He liked this guy, this AOK. Now, I think in Brazil, this means something else. I'm not going to talk about it and mention what that is, but I'm pretty sure it does. And then I also used a little star. And I think that's it for chipboard pieces. Yeah, Sharon kept making that hand gesture in her classes, and everyone was laughing at her, and she had no idea why. And it did not mean something good. So, but they laughed at her because they knew she didn't know any better. And she was mortified. Okay. I was laughing at her expense. Okay, so down here, like where this little tag is showing, I just kind of stacked my apple. Right, just like that. And then I grabbed the You Make Me Smile, and I just glued it right over the top of my apple. Just like that. So just see how I'm just making like little layers. And this guy, I just put right up here. And, oh, you know what? My tags are not moved over enough. Hold on, so sorry. I need to adjust. See, with the wet glue, I was able to just kind of pull those out. Sorry. Yeah, that's much better. Sometimes, like, when you're going to make this the second time, I mean, it's not going to be exactly like the first time. But you're going to try your darndest, right? There we go. Okay, enough playing with the tags. I'm done with that. Okay, so next, I added a little bit of greenery. And I know that's unusual, but I just wanted to. So I grabbed some Prima leaves. If you don't have any of these, let's see, these are Florella 571917. You know, it's real easy to punch your own leaves or cut them out of paper, cut them out of green paper. You know, leaves are pretty easy to recreate, right? So what I did was I just kind of wanted a little bit of greenery like around, just to, I don't know, I felt like some green was just needed. Sometimes you just can tell like it needs a little something, and that's what I felt like it needed. Okay, so I'm going to put that there and put that there. So I just have them at the corners. Just, they're very subtle, kind of cool. You guys know I love leaves. I'm just going to tuck this one in. So really what we're doing now is we're just assembling, we're layering, and we're just having fun, right? I hope so. I hope you guys are enjoying this. Okay, so let's see. Oh, now I want to show you what else I did with that chipboard piece. So I only needed 4 leaves. That's really all I used. I'm just going to put those away so that they, you know, I'm trying to clean up as I go because I just create this huge mess. Up here, I wanted a little star, so I'm going to put that up there. This little chipboard star. It's so cute. There we go. All right, just like that. And then, remember the bee I pulled out? So I grabbed this pack of flowers. So these are the school memory flowers. The number is 570743. So there's quite a nice variety in here. They're pretty cute. And I only needed this one here. And it's got all these little, it's printed on to match the paper. Let me see if I can hold it up close enough. See how it matches the paper? And these little guys I'm just going to cut off because I don't want them. So I'm just going to give it a haircut, literally. Literally cutting off all those little hairs. And it's because I'm going to add some embellishments to the center, and they would have made it a little bit too cumbersome and bulky. I'm also going to add some wood buttons. These wood buttons, you get 12 in the set, and they come in like chevron and polka dot and all kinds of fun stuff. And the number is 569617. So I'm going to try not to make a mess of these. And I grabbed the bigger chevron button, and I'm just going to glue that to the center of that flower. So I'm kind of making my own flower, so to speak. So to speak. Oh my gosh, where'd my bee go? See what I mean? This is what happens every time I lose stuff. All right, we'll find it eventually. And when I find it, I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to stick it right on. So, but just so you know, in case you don't use the letter B, okay, I'm going to put that right there. And it is overlapping the photo just a tad. But you can go back to the chipboard pieces. You can grab a star, a little bird. You know, there's a little 4-leaf clover. There's all kinds of stuff that you could add. Oh, look at all these little circles down here. It says Smarty Pants. I think I'm going to use that because I can't find my bee. So see, that little Smarty Pants chipboard piece can go right there. And I've just kind of made my own flower center. Here, let me hold that up so you can see. See that? So just having fun with it a little bit. Now, the other flower that I used down here actually comes from a different pack. But you can certainly use the same pack, and you can use this guy in here. But I don't want to. So this pack, also, I mean, these all come in the special delivery kit that some of you might have gotten this month. But like I said, if you only have one pack, you only have one pack. So one thing I love to do is just to get more from my flowers. Your bee is on your page. It is? Where? Is it stuck somewhere? Jillian is texting me telling me it's on my page. It could be. To the right of your photo. I don't know where it is. I'm sorry. Oh, it's gone now. Okay. False alarm. Okay, so that little flower I just took out of the center of this one. See, they peel apart. So like this I could save for later and put my own button in it and use it again. But I just wanted a little bit just to go over here. There we go. Just like that. Oh, there's the bee. I see it. There it is. I found it. See, I knew that. I knew I would. All right, so we're gonna tuck that in kind of under here, I guess. Okay. Cuteness. So it's coming together, and we're just layering. We're layering the flowers, the leaves. I asked Brian permission if I could put flowers on the page before I did this, and he said, yeah, he didn't care. Love it. I love that. And he was actually really excited that I was using his photo for Live with Prima. Typical 13-year-old. Oh, yep, see, there's the bee. So I would, in the original layout, I just put the bee right there. Okay. So I'm going to stick it back in there. So I think that's good for chipboard pieces. So I'm just going to move this beauty out of the way. And next I'm going to go to, we came out with these really beautiful paper bows. I used it because he has a little bow tie on. I think scrapbook.com or places like that may still have it, but you can also find them at Joann's or Michael's. I'm sorry, Michael's. I saw them there. So they're just like little paper bow ties. They're craft colored, so you could certainly color them yourself to match anything, but I just left them craft. I just left it craft, and I just added it right here. I think it's pretty cute. So that's where I put it. I'm going to do that. Can you guys see everything okay? That's right, it's not a Prima page until there's flowers. That's so true. All right, so I'm just going to tuck that in right there. And now I know I showed you some of the wood buttons, but I'm going to go back to those because I'm going to actually have them kind of come down and around the page. And like I said, they come in a little tray, and you're just going to turn them upside down. And there's sweet little ones, like there's little apple-shaped ones in here. Isn't that cute? Let's see if my camera will. Apple-shaped, and there's like a red striped one too. So what I decided to do with these beauties is just sprinkle them like just kind of around. And there's actually a bee. There's a bee on the button too. How lucky am I? See, it was meant to be. So I'm just going to go ahead and start gluing these down. I didn't put thread in them or anything like that, but you're certainly welcome to. All right, I'm going to put one right there. And I'm going to put this green one like over here. Now when I do this randomly, there is a method to my madness, usually. Because not only do I like to use the buttons, but I like to use brads and little sugar dots that we have, which I'll show you next. I'm going to put this little striped one up here. Look how cute this one is. This one, well, you know, I'm laughing because look where the holes are. So this looks like crazy nerdy eyes. But it would have been nice if the eyes were like straight across or something, because that's a stinking cute button with little glasses, don't you think? Yeah, that would have been cute. I have to chuckle sometimes about stuff like that. Okay, I'm going to put this little red button up here. And I think that's good for buttons. So see how I just kind of space them around? A couple here, a couple there. So put our buttons away for now. And move on to, I'm just making room here, tossing stuff aside. Let's see. Oh, now here are the brads I was telling you about. So I'm going to hold these up. Did you see that? They've got like little designs, little words, and they're like little hexagon and circle shapes. So I love to take these, and I just cut the backs off of them and sprinkle these around. And then also, let's see if I can find them. Ah, here they are. And these were the sugar dots I was telling you about. They're like just little enameled stickers. So I also sprinkled these around too. So I think next, I'll get those out. What I'll do is the brads, and then I'll do the little enamel sugar dots. Okay, so now what I like to do is just kind of pick out different colors, different shapes, different sizes, and I'm just going to pull them right out of the packaging. So we have the little prongs here, so I just clip them off. Just make sure you close your eyes when you do that so they don't come flying back in your in your face. Okay, and there's another little one here with a bird on it. You saw the little images, right? So they're pretty cute. I think Prima comes out with some of the cutest brads ever. So I think, see, and this is what I just start to do. I start to fill in the space where I put my buttons. And, you know, just kind of look at these and decide which one I want to use next. Let's see. So are you guys having fun? Oh, I forgot to say what the sugar dots were when I denied the number. So sorry, Delana, I'm fired. Sugar dots are 570484, and the brads are 569518. So sorry. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of put a couple up here, and I'm just going to put a little dab of glue behind them. My glue is making very lewd noises right now. Okay. So I don't know. I've always liked to use brads as part of the embellishments, like non-brad like. So like I said, I just sprinkle them around because I think they're so cute, but I don't want to punch holes in my layout and, you know, fight with them that way. So the easiest thing for me to do is just cut off the backs and glue them down. Let's see, I got another little one here. There we go. So I'm going to keep going with that. So, and it's cool too because you can take them and just put them where you think you might want them, you know, and sprinkle them and move them around, and then once you decide, you can go ahead and glue them down. If you punch a hole in your page, well, that's no good, because what if you don't like where it is? And you know, this metal behind the brad is like actually really thin, so it's really easy to cut out. All right, so put a couple of those just like so. So there's one here. Can you see that? I'll hold this up close so you guys can see it in just a sec once I get them all tethered down. And when I sprinkle stuff around too, I try not to let anything kind of line up perfectly. Like I really make an effort to make sure that they're spaced well. There. And random as possible. So see how none of these line up. I don't know, you guys probably already know to do that. Yeah, I thought I'd mention it anyway. Okay, so next, my sugar dots. And I'm actually going to use my my craft knife to help me out with this. So, because these guys can, you know, they're cool and everything, but they're real small. So I use my craft knife just to get them up and plunk them down. It's got some red ones. So this is really easy. It's just, I know you gotta sit here and watch me do it, but it's kind of fun. And using a craft knife is really gonna keep you from, you know, saying all kind of bad words and swearing and stuff, because they just come, you just pick them up really easily with that knife and then just transfer them right over. So you don't have to worry about them getting stuck to your finger and all that jazz. So again, just sprinkling them around. Maybe I'll add another blue one up here, just underneath that flower. Okay, let me just hold this up so you guys can see. There's all kinds of stuff here. See that? Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. So I'm just going to do up here real quick, and then I'm going to add my bling circles and my crazy string, and that should be it. Let's see. So also, you know, I wanted to let you guys know that next Tuesday, Sandra Evertson is coming on the show, and she's going to be making a really cool Halloween project with her funky skulls. I know that's not the official name of them, but they're kind of cool. They're funky and cool. And she's got some treat bags that she's making and decorating, and even a coffee mug, which I was like, whoa. So she's going to add her artifacts and relics to just a plain old coffee mug. Looks really cool. Plus, I think it's really neat just to see all the things you can use on those because they're blank resins and they can just take so much color. They're so pretty. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So I'm going to hold that up for you guys. You see that? Uh-oh, my button is gone. My button's gone off the page. There we go. You see that okay? Stinking button. All right. Next, this is really starting to come together. It's really flowing well. And when I was working on this earlier, I'm like, it needs something else. It needs something fabulous. So we're going to add Satan Crystal circles. And actually, if you go to livewithprima.net, if you go under the Julie Nutting Doll Club, there's like a bunch of different kits to choose from, and there's actually an all bling kit. And these circles are in there with swirls and all kinds of fun stuff. The number on these is 563622, and I just love using these, and I just thought, oh my gosh, it adds just a little bit of, just finishes it off. So with these circles, they come right off the backing, and I like to do it sometimes where I have the circles going off the page just a little bit. So I do that, and then I just clip it, and there you have it. So there we go. So there's a little half a circle, and then there's smaller ones, and it's cool just to kind of work them around the little brads that you put on there and make them look like they were always there. And they're really sticky, so they just go right on. No problemo. All right, so just like that. And down here, I have that big button kind of onto my tag, so I kind of want to frame that in just a little bit. So I'm going to cut this in half before I even stick it down. And I'm just going to have the end of it going behind the paper and then underneath the tag. So it looks like it's, like I only used a half a circle, so you didn't have to waste. And you can save the other half on your sheet and for something later. Because we don't like to waste our stuff. And I'm just going to put another one here, which looks pretty. And these are older too. Like we came out with these a while ago, but they're still some of my favorite products. There's just some things you need in your stash because, you'll go back to them eventually. All right, let me just cut this off here. All right. I can even move that back a little bit. Okay. So see where I added the bling? Let's see if I can get it to focus. So sorry if you're watching this and it's, your eyes are going crazy. There we go. So we just added little random circles around. See, I put it around my bee. Yeah, it was kind of fun just to kind of highlight the, the buttons that we added and just kind of add to all of this, but without like overwhelming it either. Okay, and then the very last thing I did is I grabbed some regular thread, and I know you guys have probably seen a lot of people do this, but you just pull and pull and pull a whole bunch of thread, and you kind of just ball it up a little bit. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the center. Okay. Oh no. Well, I gotta clean off the end of my glue. My glue's not too bad tonight. It's kind of cooperating. And I'm just going to take that and tuck that in maybe. Boy, that got goopy fast. Whoa. Alright, hold on. Sorry if my arm's in the way. You can see all my beautiful freckles. Alright, so we just want it kind of sticking out just a little bit here. You can just kind of tuck it in and just unravel it. I know it just added a little something, and I think it's a neat idea. Alright, again, just going to add a little bit of glue here. Probably easier to add the glue to the paper than stick the thread in there. Yep. see it's a little bit of messy thread sticking out. Just adds a little something. It's not a big deal if you want to add it or not. I think it's kind of fun. So that's just about it. One more little piece to add down here. Oops. Yeah. That's the thing about this glue. It gets all over your fingers. So sometimes you gotta ball it up off of your finger. There we go. Just a little more thread sticking out there. Very messy, kind of cool. And there you have it. I think that's it. I think that's all I did. Yeah. Now let's say you get this all done and you're like, oh, I need more splatters. Just make sure, like, take a piece of your scrap paper, cover up your photo, and then you can splatter a little bit more if you don't mind it getting on your embellishments. But that's just what I do sometimes. And there we have it, folks. Isn't the bow tie so cute? I should have colored it like a navy blue to match like his picture, but I was like, nah, I kind of like it. It matches this flower up here. I do try to kind of keep in mind those kind of colors and similarities. And here's the original one. Look at that, it looks pretty similar. So yeah, so that was it. Just getting out like all those different things, metals, wood, chipboard, flowers, just, you know, kind of using those just to make it real nice and, you know, give it a little bit of depth and interest. And that is it. So it is great. You know, we don't do a lot of masculine layouts on the show, or masculine projects for that matter. So it's kind of nice to see every once in a while. And what I noticed this past weekend when I was at a crop, that a lot of the ladies were really looking for masculine ideas and things to do. So, but honestly, you could put a girl's photo on here and it would still work just fine. Oh, I'm so glad you guys like it. Thank you so very much for joining me tonight. I know I get a little kooky. It's 10:30 p.m. so it's later for me, so I get a little tired and silly. So, and I was on Tuesday also, so you guys certainly had a full dose of me this week, and I just really appreciate all of the support and fun. And I hope that you'll join us for more shows. Like I said, next week we have Sandra coming on, and then also you know, we have a Prima event coming up in January. It's Art Venture in Anaheim, California, January 6th and 7th before CHA. Awesome event, 6 teachers, 6 fabulous classes, shopping, goodie bags, food, you know, you name it. And it's really cool. So if you want more info about that, you're interested in treating yourself to an awesome weekend of fun in Prima, go to primamarketinginc.com and just click on the Prima Art Venture tab at the top. And it'll take you there and give you all kinds of information about it. Okay? Oh yeah, yes. All right, thank you so much. I'm going to stop the recording now. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.